Can you imagine a combat team, a combat fire team going outside the wall without every single bit of their equipment? Without every single bit of their equipment. Can you imagine them going outside the wall without their weapon? Without their flak vest? Without their helmet? Without their comms? And yet, that's what we see over and over and over again. Because they are not the varsity. You want to be the varsity? You got to play like the varsity. You got to dress like the varsity. And you got to know that every second of every minute of every hour of every day you are being watched. Here's one. So if I want to become a deputy chief in this organization, because you see it right there, right? Deputy chief. So if I want to become a deputy chief in that organization, I got to wear those Nomex jeans and those steel-toed sneakers, right? And use that helmet to ventilate that window. Now you know for a fact that that deputy chief was never a truck company officer. Never rode a ladder company in his life. Why? Because at a minimum, if he had been riding a truck company for any length of time, what would he have learned? Right? Take a tool, he's standing on it. You don't even need to do that. Use the ladder. You want to ventilate that window, stand at the bottom and drop that through the window. Instead, he's on the ladder, in the smoke, doing it. And if you're a rookie firefighter, what do you think? Man, he's a deputy chief, right? He must know what he's doing. He's a deputy chief. Don't be naive about what's going on in your department. Now, as we go through this morning, I'm going to share with you some videos of some incidents. And remember that every time you point a finger at somebody else, 3 fingers are pointing back at you. So when we get to the end of this presentation, I'm going to show you my own fire department on our not best day. I'm going to show you examples of stuff that has gone on in my own organizations. Why? Because none of us is perfect. None of us. But we're going to look at some videos, and we're going to try to learn some lessons about how we get to this. Did this all occur overnight? No. Does it get fixed overnight? No. And sometimes the enormity of the problem seems so great that we just get paralyzed. We say we can't do anything. I think that's BS. I think we have the ability to control change at our level of the organization. We all go. Second alarm, we all go. All right? Just so everyone knows. All right. I have no guarantee that this is going to work. Or I could just get really lucky. How many of you have seen that video before? Keep your hands up. All right, put your hands up. All right, leave them up. How many of you have read the report from Fresno, California? I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to be a student of the fire service, if you want to call yourself a firefighter, you must learn the lessons. It is not enough to watch a video. You have to read the report. You have to learn the whole story. You have to gather as much information as you humanly can. I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't do something with the information you learn today, within 30 days, 80% of it will be gone. If you do not do something demonstrative with the information that you are given today to help your firefighters come home alive, within 30 days, 80% of the information that you hear here today will be gone from your memory. Read the report. Right? One of the most compelling things in this report is that Captain Dern's hood was found in pristine condition, and it used that word. It described his hood as being in pristine condition. Why? Where was it? Pocket? Right, on the truck? It was actually in the superstructure of his helmet. It was actually in the superstructure of his helmet. And it was found in pristine condition. Now think about that. How does that happen? 29-year veteran? It is entirely possible that his was the first generation of firefighters in his department to get Nomex hoods. So if he came in at a time when they weren't wearing Nomex hoods and they were given Nomex hoods, there is a profound cultural change that has to occur. Because before the era of Nomex hoods, what did firefighters use as a barometer about where they should be in the building? Your ears. And if you trusted your ears to be your thermometer, and I gave you something that made it less likely that you could use a sense that you relied upon, what's the likelihood of you using that? Low. Extremely low. So, Captain Dern doesn't wear his Nomex hood. It's up in his helmet. I'm a rookie firefighter. I have no fire service background whatsoever. I go to rookie school. During rookie school, what do they teach in rookie school? Right? How much of your PPE do you have to wear during rookie school? Every bit of it, right? Every square inch. And how often do you have to do that?
Every time.
Every single time. That's exactly right. Every single time. So you come out in the field, into the world of the organization, and very quickly you come to realize the captain's not wearing his hood. And you ask the captain, you're like, hey, Cap, just hood? He's like, no. Let me explain. And he gives the kid a reasonable, rational explanation about why he doesn't wear his hood. And then what happens? What's kid do? Doesn't wear it. That's how the culture of an organization gets passed down from generation to generation to generation. And then the consequences of those decisions don't come to fruition immediately. It takes years for the circumstances to line up in just the wrong way to result in an impact. But that's how the culture of your organization is built. And that's how actions outpace words every single time. Actions outpace words every single time. Help me out there. Help me out, all right? What's that say right at the top?
4 firefighters fall through roof of burning
Abandoned something. right? It's casino is what it is actually. But what's that word right there? Abandoned, right? Abandoned casino.
We're doing okay.
I did.
Two-inch tip, flowing 80 psi, smoothbore nozzle. What's that outputting? Right? 1,033 gallons a minute. How many pounds is that? Right? 8,000 pounds per minute. That's how many tons? Right? 4 tons of water every minute being added. What do you see happening to the roof? Right? And what's the engineer doing, right? Engineer's like, hey, right? Right?
Firefighters, just over! They're in that far corner.
LA County must be the most screwed up fire department in America, right? No! No, they're not. They're an incredibly outstanding fire department. They are a tremendous fire department. They do tremendous number of things extremely well. Why do California truck companies go to the roof? Right? They staff in a way that allows that to happen, but in that case, that's a whole 4-person company. They staff with 4 people, all right? Why? Why do you always find California truck companies on the roof?
The way they've always done it.
Because that's the way they've always done it. Now, this is important. This is important. Is building construction in California different than on the East Coast? It is. It is different. Why? They have a little thing out in California called what?
Earthquakes.
Earthquakes. That's exactly right. So they build buildings to a different standard. So their buildings are, in fact, sturdier than our buildings, because our buildings aren't built to the same earthquake resistance standard that they are in California. So the experience of California firefighters is based on what? Being able to spend a lot of time doing vertical ventilation on roofs. So is it foreign to them to be on the roof of a building? No. Even with fire underneath them? Of course not. We look at that and we're like, that's the most screwed up thing. Who the hell's on the roof of a burning building like that? The reality is that what we find, however, is we get lulled, we get sucked in, and we get complacent. So you're riding battalion chief, you go mutual aid to a mutual aid county, and you see that. When you arrive on location, what do you do about it? Honestly. You tell me. Some other jurisdiction, they have command. You see what's going on. Truck company on the roof like that. Heavy fire conditions. Roof is sagging. Master stream being applied. What do you do? And you don't have to answer, but I'm going to tell you that the overwhelming majority of chief officers would not have the intestinal fortitude to go up to the incident commander and say, Chief, I think they need to be off the roof right now. Five seconds too late or 2 minutes too early. And it's easy to criticize. But if you show this video, and you can show, and I want you to show all these videos to your crews. Sit them down, put them around the computer and say, hey, we're going to watch this video. And ask them, what do you see? Firefighters will see something different than company officers, and company officers will see something different than chief officers. Because perspective is everything. And if you want to really teach your firefighters in the medium that they understand, modern kids today do everything on their phones. Everything on their phones. Not that you're making YouTube firefighters, but what you are doing is you are using case studies to learn and show examples of things that you could spend a lifetime of firefighting engaged in and never experience. Listen carefully to this video. Listen carefully.
Division service to 1 minute. We have fire into the hallway on the floor above. You need a line upstairs. No water. Hey, ladies and gentlemen. You know,
That's hard to listen to. Out of this event, what did the FDNY do?
Rescue ropes.
Right? Rescue ropes. Right? For who?
Every member.
Every single member of the fire department gets rescue ropes now. Right? Millions of dollars invested in research and development with Sterling and Petzl. Millions of dollars invested. Time, energy, effort, training. All great stuff. Could this exact event happen again today in the FDNY?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely, positively. Does the existence of every member having a self-escape system prevent this circumstance from developing again? No. The perception was that they died because they didn't have the appropriate equipment to rescue themselves. When in reality, it's a series of seemingly disconnected events that all line up in just the wrong way, in just the wrong set of circumstances. Because one of the things you heard during all that, you should have heard, get water in the line, put your pump in gear. What's going on? Right? The first 3 hydrants, who has read the report? Who's read the report on this incident? Who's read the NIOSH report? Right? Again, how much do the NIOSH reports cost? Nothing. Zero. Nothing. They cost your time. First hydrants, it's January 23rd. Right? There's snow on the ground. What is it in New York? It's cold. Hydrants are what?
Frozen.
Frozen, that's exactly right, which creates a delay in getting water into the lines, which creates a delay in getting water on the fire. It's an SOP-driven department. I come from an SOP-driven department. The officer, the irons, and the can position off the truck company, off the first 2 truck company is going where? Right? Fire floor and then floor above the fire. Officer, irons, and can off the heavy rescue company are going where? Floor above the fire to search for what? Search for victims. That's exactly right. Now, when they're going to are they stopping and waiting for a hose line to get to that floor? No. And how mobile are truck company personnel and rescue company personnel? Extremely mobile, because they're not encumbered with what? A hose line. That's exactly right, because they're not stretching 5 stories of hose line. Whether you're bringing it up through the middle of the stairwell, if you're able to do that, because the stairs are returned and they have an opening that allows that, or you're stretching around the stairwell, or you're going up and you're dropping a small canister of rope and you're bringing up the face of the building, whatever it is. However you're doing that, you still have to get water on the fire. And when the crews got up there, they get up there, they're on location, they're up on that floor above. What were the initial conditions? Initial conditions. Just like this. Clear as a bell. Right? Had the building been illegally modified?
Yeah.
It had. Is that why they died? No. That's not the one reason. There is no one reason. But what will happen is you will have kids go out and they will go to a training event. They'll go to a firefighter survival training event, and they'll come back and they'll tell the chief, you have to buy us rescue ropes. You're endangering our lives if we don't have rescue ropes. You have to buy them today. We can't go to a fire without those rescue ropes. As if somehow being in possession of those ropes is going to guarantee that they're not going to get dead. One of the guys on the rescue company had what? Had a rescue rope.
Probably mentioned he gave it to the firefighters.
That's right. They're at the window. They're arguing at the window. okay? The two guys are arguing at the window. You take the rope. No, 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 you take the rope. You take it. You got kids. Go. He comes out. He's like, I'll hold the rope. You go. He comes out. He swings over, right? He's got how many pounds of turnout gear on? Right? And SCBA, right? He comes out of that window in a big hurry with a lot of weight and a lot of inertia, and he comes around and he smacks the building, and what happens? Loses control of the rope. Critically important to understand, and we're going to talk about this after the break, the difference between proximate cause and root cause. We'll talk about that right after a break. Go ahead and take 10.